The problem with the optics with Kendrick is historically he's come across as a very organic artist that's not really about the hoopla. I don't know if I'll call it selling out, but I could definitely see a lot of people saying, yo, Kendrick has gotten to a level that we've never seen and it's making me uncomfortable.
Are we harder on like black men and black artists when it comes to selling out than we are on like white artists for selling out? Like they need to stay in the hood, they need to stay in the streets because that's like where we feel like they belong.
You know, let's not be quick to judge, especially after this mounting support. This noise that they're making for Tory is not for no reason. We have to be honest about the facts of the case and not use our emotions.
I think it's bum behavior. If you're going to step out on your marriage, you have to pay the fee of what that means. Well, I think you should pay her. I'll say it. Yeah, I think there should be like restitution, something. Broken heart fee.
Wait, what?
Yo. We are Ill-Advised Wise Guys.
Check out the full podcast, link below.
Yo. We are the Ill-Advised Wise Guys. It's your boy Oche. I got my girl, Moxxy, in the building. Say what's up, Moxxy.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Moxxy. It's great to be here. I'm the new producer for the show.
Yes,
really excited.
yes. Welcome back to another episode of the Ill-Advised Wise Guys podcast. This is episode 185, and like Moxxy said, she's our new producer. So a lot has changed, good and even better. And I know you guys are used to seeing QD's face. He had to take care of some business, but he'll be back on the next episode. But in the meantime, in between time, like I said before, we have a new producer, new face on the show. Moxxy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello. Yeah, like I said, great to be here. My name is Moxxy. I live on the West Coast, actually. I live in a little town called Granite Falls, Washington, in this little cabin. I'm a media producer and a poet. I'm in grad school right now for poetry and playwriting. I'm an actress, little jack of all trades, master of none, perhaps. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I've always wanted to be in the podcasting world, and I've done it for the last couple of years, and so kind of one of my first times being the person on the other end of the camera, and I love the sound of my own voice, so I'm really excited to finally use it.
There you go. We know for a fact our audience is going to rock with you, but then again, like, get used to like the slander, because like, hey, listen, like you're gonna say some takes that people are not gonna agree with, and that's fine too. You know what I mean? So it happens to the best of us. But we're happy to have you.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, you'll get used to it. You'll get.
I'm like, is there anything around where anybody could bully me? They're gonna be like, we hate her dress. My mom bought this for me, so.
Hey, y'all heard her. She's making demands early, okay? do what she says, or else, guys. But no. Yeah, no, we're back, though. We're back. It's been a little while. We missed you guys. We have more content to produce, and a lot of that is going to be coming shortly. So, yeah, y'all make sure to keep riding with us. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. If you made it this far, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, y'all know what to do. And if you don't, just hit that follow button. We're going to be right in your phones when we drop any new episodes. So now, Moxxy, how you doing though? Let's just, I know you said you live on the West Coast. I know that's not like West Coast, like West Side. You can't really rep the West, can you? Are you West Coast, or are you like Northwest? How does that work over there?
I'm very Northwest. I'm like, if I walked a little too long with my eyes closed, could end up in Canada, kind of Northwest. So can't quite rep the West Coast in the same way that LA could perhaps rep the West Coast. I feel like they've got that down. I don't need to rep the West Coast for the LA. I'm in the mountains and the forest, repping the deers and the bears.
Okay. So West Coast baby out there. All right. I feel you. I feel you. Well, listen, if you ever want to, claim the West Coast, just make sure you submit your application to Kendrick Lamar directly. I'm sure that's just how it goes out there these days, So
Yeah, I do. I gotta get permission from him. I gotta get permission from everyone else on the West Coast. Probably some signed document that I have to put out. Probably like with my the blood of my palm or something.
Damn. Oh
I don't
wow.
know. It seems kind of serious.
That was kind of extreme there, but I feel you. Hey.
I can't just step in. It feels like some type of initiation's got to happen.
Fair enough. Well, welcome to the team. We hope you guys watch and enjoy Moxxy as well. Let's jump right into the show. However, first, we got to talk about church announcements, guys. And what better thing to do than to highlight our world famous underground playlist called Zero Skips, the mother effing playlist. If you guys are not hip, I'm about to get you hip. That is a undiscovered, a land of undiscovered talent, folks who you've probably never heard of, but you definitely should know. We highlight a lot of hip hop, R&B, pop acts, Afro beats. The list goes on. EDM. Whatever it is, we got it, guys. If it's a skip list record, it's on our playlist. That's how the shit goes. All right. Zero Skips, the mother effing playlist, streaming now only on Spotify, aka in your mother effing stores now. Let's get it. And listen, my guy QD's not here, but if he was here, we would highlight RGM. So guess what I'm about to do? Highlight RGM. If you guys are, into indie reviews or just, you love songs and new songs, rather, you love movie reviews, you love, people, ranting and raving about the new albums that dropped from your favorite artists, mainstream or indie, we got it all covered for you guys. ratingsgamemusic.com is the brand. That's the website. If you're interested, y'all make sure to go and tap in right now. And that's before Trump, takes it down. So just FYI, just wanted to point that out, guys. But after that, Moxxy, I think it's time. We should just jump right into the show. I'm excited about some of these topics that we have to offer. We're going to be talking about Cardi B and Offset and whether or not Offset is a bum or not. Like, listen, I didn't write it down. Moxxy wrote it down. Just spoiler alert.
Wow.
We're going to have a real conversation about...
He said, those were not my words. I don't stand behind that statement.
Hey, so I gotta blame somebody. Somebody wrote the word bum on our show notes. I'm all right. It wasn't me. Just saying. No, that's gonna be a dope convo. Obviously there's a lot of stuff going on right now between them. We're not really gonna get into their business per se, but I think there's a convo about gender roles and when people break up, do people look crazy? Does the man look crazy if he starts asking for money? From the woman and vice versa. I don't know, guys, but I don't know where you guys stand, but shit. I think that's going to be a dope-ass conversation. We're also going to talk about Tory Lanez and his the momentum that's behind what he has going on after he was stabbed in prison. Was Tory Lanez framed? I mean, look, I know it's probably a blasphemous question to ask at this point in society, or at least maybe not now, but at one point that was a crazy question to ask. We're going to talk about like the new revelations that have come out from that whole saga that just will never end. Will Tory eventually get out of prison at some point here in the near future? I don't know. But Moxxy and I are definitely going to discuss whether or not, Tory was framed and some of the details behind all of that. But first, we got to talk about Kendrick Lamar, guys. And look, Kendrick Lamar, I feel like we probably have talked about him a record amount of times on our show. I know everybody's covered Kendrick, Drake, the battle, everything that's gone back and forth between these two gentlemen the last year and a half at this point. But now that we are seemingly past the battle, now that artists have seemingly started to complain that fans are still dragging the issue, we've come to find out that Not Like Us finally finally left the Billboard 100 charts after 53 weeks.
All kingdoms
Obviously,
have
Kendrick,
to fall at some point.
Absolutely. Obviously, Kendrick, he did the Super Bowl show. A bunch of stuff has happened. He's gotten a lot of mainstream looks since this whole beef has ended. And I think it's a fair question to ask, is Kendrick selling out now that we've seen him in all the new ads, whether it's Gatorade, Bottega, Harper's Bazaar, this, that, and the third? It's like, yo, at some point, guys, is it fair to say this guy's selling out? Moxxy, what do you think?
Well, I personally think I was talking to a couple friends about this, and these friends are actually, I've got a couple friends who are in LA, so the real West Coast. They can really rep the West Coast. They don't have to do a
West Side
blood sacrifice in order to be accepted into the West Coast. They are actually asking themselves, does this look like Kendrick Lamar is selling out? And they would say yes, that it looks like Kendrick Lamar is kind of selling out.
What?
They think, it's almost like inevitable to get this big and not sell out. And I almost think the same thing, like, you're doing all these commercials I guess I haven't really seen him do before, like being like this more mainstream. And like Kendrick Lamar, I feel like for a long time, has always been, I think, a household name in the rap community. He's got some big hits, and this is obviously, not, I don't think, coming out of the blue. And I think when you're riding a wave of success that he is right now, with the momentum coming off of this Drake beef and then dropping an album that I personally cannot stop listening to. So let me preface that, like, I love you, Kendrick. I love Kendrick. This is GNX has been like my workout album for basically since it came out.
Right.
I'm pumping iron, like, I deserve it all. And then to do the Super Bowl, which was also so successful, now he's going on tour. It almost feels like a lost opportunity, I would say, to not sell out. And it makes me think, like, what is it always a bad thing to sell out? And like, is there like a balance to selling out just a little bit in order to, get what you think you deserve? And are we harder on, like, I don't know, black men and black artists when it comes to selling out than we are on, like, white artists for selling out? Like, do we not think, like, black artists are allowed to sell out? Like, they need to stay in the hood, they need to stay in the streets because that's, like, where we feel like they belong? I'm almost like,
oh my God,
maybe he is selling out, but, like, is that so bad? Is he not allowed to reach for the stars?
Whew. Wow, you look. You done asked some damn heavyweight questions. Let me see if I can get my my bow tie out. I think I might need to look like I'm from the Nation of Islam to answer this question. Whoa, no. To be real with you, like, I love first of all, I love those questions because you said something. You said, like, is it okay to sell out, right? Like, is sometimes selling out okay? It's interesting, like, because I do think black guys, not to turn this racial, but there isn't a racial element to this, right? Because you got to think about, right? When has a white person ever been labeled as a sellout? Like, I've literally never heard that. Like, in terms of a pop star, right? Yeah. Like, Justin Bieber can go off and do any commercial, work with any brand, work with any partner, and I've never heard the word sellout associated with a Justin Bieber,
there was a
Morgan Wallen.
Few years
you get
where
what I mean?
only saw Justin Bieber half naked because he was always doing a Calvin Klein shoot. Like, I always saw that man's underwear for some reason, and I don't remember anyone ever being like, Justin Bieber has sold out. It was like, no, we expected Justin Bieber to be half naked on every billboard selling Calvin Klein. Like, it was okay for him.
And you see, that's where I think the way I look at it is this. Like, I do think black artists, especially street oriented artists are looked at through a different lens. Although we have to acknowledge that, let's be real, like before the battle, Kendrick was always a big artist, right? Global, internationally known. He's done tons of international shows, right? World renowned. People know Kendrick is like that. Like there's no debate. However, we would be naive to not acknowledge that after the battle, him winning Grammy after Grammy, him winning award after award, him going on the Super Bowl, performing there, him, his music being licensed everywhere, NBA Countdown. You're hearing this guy everywhere. Now he's on a stadium tour with SZA. We would be disingenuous and just naive to not acknowledge that he hasn't elevated and gotten to another level. Like, it's obvious, right? But I think the problem with the optics with Kendrick is historically he's come across as a very organic artist that's not really about the hoopla, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think now that we see Kendrick associated with these big brands, it almost challenges what we've always known Kendrick to be, which is this super low-key, true to himself artist that's not with the hoopla, the pop shit. You know what I mean? Like he's this kind of guy that's very reserved. We know he's a big artist, but he's never really been associated with that. So I think we're just seeing a different version of Kendrick. And I will say, I wouldn't call it selling out per se. I would just say, as long as he's having an alliance to brands that are organic, I don't have a problem with it. Personally, like I think the Gatorade partnership to me makes sense. Kendrick always talks about his workouts. Like that's a good partnership. You know what I mean? It aligns brand wise. I don't have a problem with that. But the Harper's Bazaar, it's like him going on the cover of that. It's like, that don't really look organic to me. That look a little weird associated with Kendrick, and that's no hate, no shade. Like I love Kendrick, but that looks a little odd. And so I don't know. I don't know if I'll call it selling out, but I could definitely see a lot of people saying, yo, Kendrick has gotten to a level that we've never seen and it's making me uncomfortable.
Yeah. I think that's the
you
word.
Know what I mean?
It's a little bit of uncomfortable. It's like a little bit foreign to see him in these kind of like environments. Like, yeah, you're right, bizarre. Like I think we mentioned this a little bit in the green room. I've seen like The Weeknd on Bazaar, and I think he's mentioned it in a song lyric before, but The Weeknd on Bazaar doesn't quite feel so out of place. He looks like he belongs there. But Kendrick is like, that's not necessarily where I would have put him, and it almost makes me wonder, like, I don't know, just how much does Bazaar pay to put you on the cover? Like, what are the checks being cashed that are enticing enough for Kendrick to kind of put his image aside, for the benefit of, and then it's also like, I don't know what he's doing with his money. Maybe he's like, oh, my image not looking exactly how my fans want it to be is worth getting this check, and I can put that money back right into my community. Like sometimes selling out is not just for the benefit of the artist. If you have an artist who is conscious of their own culture, which I'd like to believe that Kendrick is, you can see the benefits of them selling out in their exact community, in their like fans. Like they try to give back. And so, I don't know exactly what is happening behind the scenes there. That's just to say, like, sometimes selling out is for us. It's so that we can feel elevated too.
Look, I'm gonna be real with you, and maybe we can move on after this, but I challenge the word sellout a bit, because I was telling you this earlier, even the word sellout has a negative connotation, right? Whereas you could probably just easily use a word like, this person elevated, right? Maybe they got to a different echelon, right? What's wrong with leveling up? What's wrong with evolving, right? Like why? Like we could easily choose to use that framing as well with Kendrick, right? And again, I think it's because Kendrick's never shown us that he gave a damn about anything other than the music historically. So now that he's at a different level because of his art, because of what he was able to do, because of the new fans that he was able to acquire after slaughtering Drake in this rap battle, it now puts Kendrick in a different visibility lane, right? In the pop world. There's a lot of people who obviously knew about Kendrick, but now they're hearing songs like Not Like Us. And they're like, oh shit, like this is a song that's cool. It's catchy. Who's this? Oh, this is the Kendrick guy? Oh wow, like this is cool. I can get jiggy with this. Right? Like there's a lot of people who probably never even gave a damn about a Kendrick song ever. Who now, after GNX, after Not Like Us, they're like, yo, you know what? Let me go back and look at all his other music. And they're starting to maybe appreciate his discography like it probably should be acknowledged by some of the people who've never heard it. So again, my whole thing is I can see the argument of people saying Kendrick is selling out because of the fact that the guy who we're discussing never has ever come across as brand friendly or somebody who gave a damn about the hoopla and all the, that the pop ish. But I think we would be I would be remiss rather to just not acknowledge, like some of what he's been able to achieve comes with this new visibility. It just does. Like it comes with it. Like you don't do the Super Bowl and then people complain about him having TV ads. Like, come on. Like he did the Super Bowl. I mean, like, come on. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Kendrick Lamar had an ad with like Home Depot, like just random. Like, you're like, yo, what the hell is Kendrick doing in a Home Depot commercial? This is weird. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just being real with you. Like that's how visible Kendrick has become. Can you imagine
that's
a Kendrick
right.
Lamar?
Lowe's. We're not like Lowe's. They're not like us. We love Home Depot. I find a way to fit it into some narrative. I'm like, they're so right.
No, hell yeah. But no, on that note, I think it's an interesting question, and I appreciate you for bringing that topic up. And this is a question for you guys. You think Kendrick Lamar is sold out? Do you think, do you have a problem with us using the word sellout with Kendrick? Like, what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments when we put this up on YouTube and also everywhere else. Let's move on to the next topic. What we got, Moxxy?
Next topic, we are actually going to be talking about this infamous years-long question battle of Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. Specifically, was Tory Lanez framed for this shooting?
Yikes.
Yeah, tough one. I personally have an opinion that I will, hedge and say I might not have all of the facts. I might just have a lot of feelings and a lot of love for Megan Thee Stallion. I might be a little biased there, but I am a sponge and I'm willing to learn, and I'd love to hear your point of view on what you think is going on here, if you believe Tory Lanez is being framed for this whole situation with Megan Thee Stallion. I've just, from what I know and from what I've read and from the hot girl summers that I've had, my opinion is that I think he might have shot her. I think he might have shot her in the foot. And is doing a lot of work to change that narrative. But what is your opinion? I think you think something different.
Well, leave me to be the bad guy, okay? I'll do it.
You made me call Kendrick a sellout, so now...
Touche. You know what?
One might be worse than the other. So.
No, let me... at risk of coming across like a Tory Lanez apologist, right? Because, I mean, truthfully, like, full disclosure, I love Tory Lanez music. I think he's a great artist. I think he is an amazing artist, rather. I think he is a generational talent of an artist. I'm saying this objectively. To rap, sing at the level he does it, songwrite, I think it's incredible. That goes without saying. I want to put that out there because I don't know if people know that about me. If I'm not sure who's going to be watching this at this point, but that's how I feel about Tory Lanez as an artist, okay? Meg Thee Stallion, not so much of a fan of hers. However, there's a lot of songs of hers that I do really, really enjoy. So, yeah, I mean, as far as the bias is concerned, I definitely musically strayed more towards Tory. Now, let me get to the question you asked. I wanted to point that on the record just because. Like, there's probably some people who are like, hey, look, he clearly loves Tory Lanez music. Yeah, you're right. I do like his music more. But that has nothing to do with the point that I'm about to drop to you guys right now, okay? I want to take you guys back, right? And I'll be relatively brief because I wanted this to be a general exchange between you and myself, Moxxy, but I'll be brief. So if we go back to the incident at hand that we obviously know is still being debated in 2025, there was a infamous shooting in the Beverly Hills that ultimately started from a, I guess, wild summer day / hot girl summer night at Kylie Jenner's house. All right. I'm not going to get into the relational interdynamics of it all that you guys already probably know. Y'all know about the love triangle that existed. That's not speculative. That was actually confirmed, but I'm going to put that aside for now. I think at the heart of this whole discussion lies one side in Tory Lanez and his team maintaining their innocence from the very beginning and their word being twisted to potentially mean different things as the case went on and as time has gone on, right? Take, for example, the infamous jail call that he had, right? Where he allegedly confessed. Well, I think you can look at that jail call two different ways, right? First and foremost, he never said, yo, I'm sorry, Megan. I'm sorry, Kelsey. Damn, why did I shoot her? Like, he never said none of that. I think it was inferred that that was what he was confessing to. Rather, the flip side is he was probably in his mind and from his team saying, yo, I'm confessing to being at the heart of causing this drama and sleeping with both of y'all that caused this whole shit to begin with, right? It depends. Depending on what side you're on, you'll look at that quote unquote confession differently. But fast forward. We're in 2025 now because a lot has come out. Tory Lanez unfortunately was stabbed 14 times, which I know there's some people who didn't believe that was true, and TMZ reported it, so it was true. He was stabbed 14 times. Apparently his lungs collapsed. He miraculously made it to the hospital, airlifted, and somehow, some way survived. Now, this is coming at the same time when his team has mounted extreme support for his release due to the suppressed evidence that was never allowed to make its way into the trial room, into the court proceedings, into all of that, to which Megan's team has said, yo, why are you guys being distracted? He clearly shot her. You guys are just making noise for no reason. But I beg you guys to just pause for a second and say, before you just paint Tory Lanez as some liar and just a person who is saying, yo, I was framed just because he's just making this all up. Before you say he's just making it all up, please consider the fact that, eyewitnesses who, at least the only eyewitness to the incident was somebody who's been documented they were documented to have changed their story from what they told police to what happened in the actual courtroom. That's number one. You can look at the inconsistencies in terms of how Meg's wounds were evaluated to when someone else who came back behind them contradicted the reports. There's a lot of contradictions and a lot of changed stories in this. We have to admit, like, even down to when Meg said she never slept with Tory to when she later on said, yeah, I was smashing him. Like, I know people want to act like that has nothing to do with anything, and I get it. Like, I'm not trying to say just because she lied about having sex with Tory, that means shit she didn't get shot. I understand those are mutually exclusive. I get it. But what I'm just here to paint a picture to say there have been too many inconsistencies from a lot of people in this that even Meg supporters to me have to acknowledge, in my opinion. So going down in closing, because we can go for days here. In closing, I will say Tory's team has released a website which they've outlined all of the quote unquote evidence that exonerates him as innocent. And which, by the way, the most important one was the gun that was tested for GSR, which came back as inconclusive, that never actually proved that Tory possessed that gun in the first place. That's a big revelation that for whatever reason, people just conveniently just act like it doesn't matter. But I urge you guys to just say, let's not be quick to judge, especially after this mounting support. We've seen star after star, Drake, all these celebrities come out saying Tory needs to be pardoned by Governor Gavin Newsom. I'll just leave you guys with this. This noise that they're making for Tory is not for no reason. It's just not for no reason. It's not. And we have to be honest about the facts of the case and not use our emotions. That's what I'll say. Moxxy, to that you say what?
Damn, counselor. I'm going to have to approach the bench.
Objection!
That's that's a little hard to refute. I really,
hey,
I do appreciate all of your points. And I honestly, I think when it comes to a lot of the fans who are rallying behind Megan Thee Stallion, and I think kind of when that event was happening, we were coming off of, or we're honestly still riding the wave of like the Me Too movement. We were trying to, this, and especially that shooting, was that like during the pandemic as well? That was like when that was happening.
Correct.
So you've got like a little bit of combination of this Me Too movement, of the murder of George Floyd, not to get too political, but we were in a time of where a lot of people were like Black Lives Matter, and then protect Black women, like specifically, as well as we're all inside and where we're all doing our own little sleuthing, and thinking, we're all our own little detectives and judges and executioners and lawyers. So we had a lot of time to like find the facts and ride on feelings, a lot of feelings. And I think you've got a lot of people on Megan Thee Stallion's side who just want to believe women and just make that, the blanket statement, like, we have to protect women. If this is how she said it happened, then this is how it happened. And then, that being said, that is, on the flip side, at least for me, I think as someone who admittedly doesn't have all the facts and is not as big of a Tory Lanez fan as you are, or as some people would be, who, or, not some people, a lot of people would be, and being more of a Megan Thee Stallion fan, just kind of like, it's easier just to be like, oh, I don't even need to hear all the facts, I believe Megan, I like her music, I'm savage, I'm a hot girl, it's just like, it's easier to just like plug in things that might make sense for you as like a person to like walk around and just have this statement of like, he did it and I believe Megan. But I do think, hearing your point of view and how like stories have changed and she's saying one thing but then changing her mind to say another thing, it does like, it obviously makes you think, and it's scary that he could be in jail for something that he didn't do, and to be stabbed that many times. That would so devastating if he were to die in jail for something that he didn't do, in such a terribly violent and like gruesome way. And now I'm thinking like, why would they be lying? Why would Megan lie? And not saying like, I'm not asking that to say like, why would she lie so she's not? But like, really, I want to know what is being hidden. If Tory Lanez didn't do it, and someone else did, who are they protecting? Why are they being protected? What does Megan get out of going on this narrative and backing this narrative up so strongly if that's not how it happened? And also the whole Jenner Kardashian of it all, I don't trust anything that happens around that family just because they are so good at fixing narratives and giving the world what they want to see, really all for the benefit, I think, money. I don't think that family knows anything but money, money, money. So not saying that, Megan is on that same train, but just saying if something happens around a Kardashian or something happens around a Jenner, just that whole family, I almost think like we're not going to hear about it unless there's a reason that we should, a reason that they want us to hear about it. So what is the narrative that they're trying to make us believe? Why do we need to believe that Tory Lanez did this? That might sound really conspiracy, but
no,
that's what I'm
no. I love what you said. I love how you framed it. And again, like I said earlier before we started recording, there's no way to have this discussion about hypotheticals without, by default, coming across as a conspiracy theorist. So damn it, I'll take it. I'll take that. I'll take that that narrative, and I'll own it, right? But I'll say this. You said why, because a lot of people were asking the same questions. Like, okay, if Tory didn't do it, well, then who did it, right? Well, a lot of this is speculation, so I'm not sitting here saying I know everything, because I don't. I mean, I'm looking at this like you are, just like everybody's looking at this. But I do think his team has outlined a narrative that supports the facts that have come out, which is that, okay, you have an eyewitness named Sean Kelly who was in the neighborhood, who was looking out the window, who literally said to police, by the way, not that he said this on his social, prior to the trial, he said, yo, I saw a woman with a gun shooting at another woman, and the short guy, this is his words, not mine, trying to stop the woman from continuing to fire. This is what the witness saw. So my belief is that Tory said, man, you know what? Once they got out of that situation, because what happened was the 5 shots went off, they got back into the car, they drove down, and police pulled them over somewhere else. When they told everybody to get out the car, Megan Thee Stallion stepped on glass at that point, right? But the police they already got reports of a shooting. So the fact of the matter is this: people say, who shot if Tory didn't do it? Well, I think it's very clear who they're saying shot the gun, which is Meg Thee Stallion's friend, Kelsey. That's who they're saying shot it. And if you want to go back to the trial, why in God's blessed name would Kelsey need immunity on the stand before she gave her testimony in that trial? Why would someone who did not shoot the gun need immunity before they're testifying? That sounds very suspicious. And I think if you've seen enough Law and Order, if you watched enough movies, you would know that someone who was also a quote unquote victim or had a bystander to this, they wouldn't need immunity to testify about anything if they had nothing to do with this. So very suspicious. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think Tory's team is making it very clear he didn't actually shoot that gun, but he decided, I'm gonna take the raps for it, not knowing he was gonna be railroaded to get 10 years in jail, which you could argue why that happened. That's a whole different discussion, which Tory's team is arguing. There's some deeper, darker shit going on with Rock Nation. I'm gonna stay away from that as to like why a lot of this is happening, but I can just tell you, I believe that Tory's team, and Tory didn't think he was going to actually get 10 years in jail for this crap. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah. But from a public narrative standpoint, he's the rapper. Nobody blinks an eye when they say Tory has anything to do with a gun. Mm-hmm. That doesn't change the narrative on a rapper. However, Meg Thee Stallion, that's a big blemish in her public perception, which at the time, we remember she had just come off of a big song with Beyonce. She was a big star. You don't really want those type of rumors and type of PR nightmares on her name. So I could easily conjure up a justification as to why her team would maybe want to have, in their best benefit, change the narrative. But again, very conspiratorial element, I will say. I sound kind of like a conspiracy theorist, but I will say I've been saying this for quite some time, and I'll just say this. The people are starting to swing. And I think this for good reason. I don't think this is just for no reason here. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean,
that's what I'll say.
You kind of got me putting on my tinfoil hat. I'm kind of thinking kind of hard about it now. Wait, yeah. Can I ask a clarifying question?
There we go.
Was
please,
Kylie
please.
Jenner there? She was there that night? Is that
the story?
Am
is
I remembering that correctly?
The story is So the story is that Tory, Meg, Kelsey, Kylie, and a few other people were all chilling at Kylie Jenner's house, right? Mm. And if you remember, at least if you know, I should say, video has come out at the time, and even now you can look this up on YouTube. It proves that they were all having a blast in the pool, having a good time. Tory with the shirt off, and Tory has since come out in his music talking about how he was line stepping because he was trying to smash Kylie. So you got Tory who was smashing Kelsey. He was also smashing Megan Thee Stallion, and he was also trying to smash Kylie Jenner, and Kylie was giving him play. I'm just letting you know. I'm trying to paint the picture of what that day looked like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He had a whole different kind of plan. He had a whole different day mapped out for him.
It was diabolical. That's a whole different discussion. But yeah.
Then can I offer something crazy? What if Kylie shot the gun?
Whoa. What? She wasn't at the scene. No.
Okay. That's what I was trying to confirm. I was like, was she there? I was like, what if?
No, hell no.
It's even bigger than we can even imagine. Kylie did it. She didn't like what Megan was wearing. She didn't like her shoes. She was like, I'm going to shoot your shoes off. And they're like, oh, we got to cover this up. We cannot have another Jenner Kardashian in the court over violence. We got to figure this out.
No, that would be insane. But no, she was never at the scene.
Okay.
She was never at the scene.
I won't pin it on her then. This time.
That was crazy. That was insane there. I've never heard that angle.
I just thought maybe we haven't thought about all the facts. Maybe we haven't seen the full picture.
Fair enough. I think that tinfoil hat was a little tight there on you. I don't know.
I think I'm actually gonna take it off. I think I'm sweating under here.
But I will say we will see what happens. Obviously, I think man, it's going to be a fight because a lot of people are saying, the Tory haters, if you will, or the people who just don't believe him are saying, well, if you had all this evidence, take it to a judge, take it to a court. Like, why are you putting this shit out in the media? Which I do think is a fair argument to a degree. But we've seen Congresswomen come out, Paulina Luna from Florida. We're seeing mounting support of people digging into the details of this case and starting to raise questions like, why was this judgment handed out? Why was this not considered during trial? Why was this evidence not considered? Like, there's a lot of questions being asked, and I don't think there's a lot of answers being given. And so that's the part that's getting a little spooky, but we shall see. We shall see what happens.
I'm interested in how this all plays out. And if I'm right about Kylie, I want everyone who watches this episode to send me $20. Yo. If I am correct about that...
But what if you're wrong?
Then I don't. Then this conversation didn't happen. Edit this out. Then we'll just go back to this episode and we'll delete the whole thing. Forget I said it.
All right. I thought you was about to say you'll pay them. But
no. Because there's a very big chance that I am wrong. But if I am right by some miracle, everyone who has watched this episode owes me $20.
All right,
including you.
We'll leave it at that. Listen, if you're right, I will pay you way more than that. But I'm confident that's not the case. Just want to throw it out there.
Okay. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Yeah. Thank you. You guys out there, y'all let us know. Was Tory Lanez framed? Are they just making a lot of noise for no damn reason? Should he take his 10 years and shut the hell up? Like what do you guys think is actually going on? Leave them in the comments of this episode. Let's move on to the next and last topic, which is the fact that Cardi B and Offset are having a bit of back and forth, and this brings up some gender roles, gender issues that are very prevalent in our society. But the fact of the matter is Offset a bum for asking for spousal support? I'm just going to say this very bluntly and very outright, because I've been seeing this narrative online, and also Moxxy, you've parroted this narrative. So I'm going to allow you to really outline why you believe Offset is a bum for asking Cardi B, his ex-wife, for money. Talk to me. What you got?
If the question is Offset a bum? My answer is hell yes. This man is a bum. Here are my reasonings. From what I have seen on the media and from Cardi B's wonderful Twitter X, formerly known as Twitter posts, I have gathered that the reason that they are getting divorced in the first place is because Offset loves to step out on this woman. He's addicted to cheating on her. Maybe that language is a little tough, but I think if you are going out of your way to blow up and ruin your marriage, not just like stepping out on your partner, but when you have kids involved, I really think you're stepping out on your family at that point. You're cheating on your whole family. And then that cheating leads to your relationship inevitably ending. And I know, sometimes we get back together, blah, 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 blah. Maybe it's not the end all be all, but a lot of times it's a clear deal breaker, and it's a tough one. It is a breaking of trust. It is a betrayal of a vow, a commitment you made. And if that ends your marriage because you cheated on your partner, and now you are getting a divorce and you want to claim, I can no longer afford the lifestyle that we used to have together when we were married, and now I would like spousal support in order to continue that lifestyle, my argument would be, you are the one who decided you didn't want this lifestyle, because my lifestyle of the marriage, which included, I need to stop making this like that's happening to me. If I
No, this is good. No, this is good because that's how you feel. So it's cool. It's all good.
Yeah, if I were in Cardi B's shoes, I'd be like, the lifestyle that we had, was like wonderful and frivolous and you had anything you could have ever asked for. I remember she gifted this guy for his birthday just straight cash one time, if I'm remembering that correctly. Like, they were living a good life. She's a very successful woman. I'm sure he's successful too. We'll get into that later. He's got his stuff. But I just think Cardi B is about her business. If that is the lifestyle you wanted to keep, that included being loyal. So the minute you decided, I don't want to be loyal, to me that's saying you have decided you no longer want this lifestyle. Why on earth am I going to pay spousal support so that you can continue the lifestyle that we had in our marriage when you cheated? It was a clear indication that you were no longer happy with the lifestyle of our marriage, because our lifestyle included you being loyal. So obviously, if you can't handle one part of it, I'm not going to pay the bill for you cheating. Spousal support, I think it's bum behavior. If you're going to step out on your marriage, you have to pay the fee of what that means. And that means you no longer get to live the lifestyle of being married to Cardi B. And I think you should pay her. I'll say it.
Oh my God. Wait, he got to pay her now? Not the other way around?
Yeah, I think there should be like restitution, something, broken heart fee.
Wait, what?
I might not have used that word right. I just
restitution is sick. Like, that is insane.
If anything, I'm like, just leave her alone. Leave her alone. I think, I actually saw a tweet that she wrote, and I think she wrote like, on my mom's life, I want you to die slow.
Word to my mother, I want you to die, but I want you to die slow.
Something like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
No, wait, she said that to Offset?
Yeah. Like, I feel like I need to, she tweeted it out, like, about this whole spousal support stuff. Like, I feel like that's where she's so angry. I would be so mad if you cheated on me and you don't really spend a lot of time with our kids, and I don't know these people, so this could be all hearsay, she say, allegations.
Hold you.
but you
This is
not gonna cheat and then ask me for money because you broke. Bum behavior. Bum behavior.
Okay, I respect it. You know, and as I like to say, there's a difference between respect and respect. Right? Remember when Birdman was at the Breakfast Club? He was talking about respect. I want my respect. Right? That's like the passive aggression version of respect. Okay? Like when you really want respect, you say respect. Anyway, I digress. I gotta ask you one quick question before I give my take on this.
Okay.
Well, just one quick question. And this is a very simple answer, hopefully, that I would hope you would give. If Cardi B was not the perceived person in their relationship with more money, would your opinion be the same?
If Cardi B had less money than Offset?
If if Offset was clearly the one who makes more money, right, and they got into a divorce and he cheated, same scenario, same exact scenario. He cheated, she wanted a divorce, and he's like, yo, I want spousal support. Would your opinion be the same or would it change? I'm just curious.
It would be the same because in this scenario, Cardi B has less money than him.
Yes.
And all the facts are still the same. Then that makes even less sense because how you gonna ask me for spousal support and I ain't got the money for it?
All right. So I thought that would be your answer. Now, the reason I asked you that question is because I just, I think the elephant in the room is this that nobody's talking about. It's the fact that you and everybody else who might consider Offset a bum are saying all of this because it's pretty obvious that Cardi B is the one who makes more money than Offset. Like, you could argue that, I should say, right? And so there's a clear double standard in relationships when the woman makes more money and when fallout happens in a marriage or relationship, how the man decides to approach that situation. Now, granted, I will give you one key factor here. Again, we don't know the situation at all, but if we're going based off what we think we know, it's the fact that their relationship arguably deteriorated because of Offset's infidelity, right? Which would mean he was likely the reason why the relationship deteriorated, which ultimately led to it being over. I'm almost certain she cheated. I'm almost certain she did a lot of shit that's not being talked about, that nobody knows because Offset is a man and he holding it down. Him disclosing is going to embarrass him. It's typical shit that guys have to do. We got to hold shit down, all right? We always get slandered because, guys, we can't voice certain things or you're going to look crazy. So he's probably sitting back like, you know what? I know I cheated. I ain't going to air her out too much, even though she did some bullshit that I don't agree with. But if I do start airing it out, y'all going to look at me like I'm crazy. So I'm going to hold it down. From a double standard standpoint, a guy cannot ask for money from his woman. Like, it's just like, you just can't do it. Like, you look crazy. You look like you're broke. You look like you don't got it all together. When I am here to tell you, because I know you are a Migos hater, okay? I want the world to know.
I never
I want the world to know
that I was a Migos hater.
I'm messing with you. I'm totally messing with you. No, you're not a Migos hater. I just wanted to throw that out there because off camera we had a whole discussion about Migos and their legacy. That's a whole different discussion. But I'll say you have question marks as to how much money Offset is bringing in /have. And I'm here to say, look, there's videos out there. Y'all can go look it up. Matter of fact, shoot, when this is up on YouTube, we gonna insert it right here. He's on Angela Yee's Angela Yee's radio show talking about he done spent $10 million on Cardi B and it was light work.
Me personally, I'm the king of my household. Like, so I don't care. I got to go get it. I got 5 kids. I got an expensive wife. I done spent $10 million on my wife.
Pocket
right?
change.
Like, Offset got it. He having it. Like, he got it. I'm not about, we ain't in their life, but I'm here to say he probably has it. Now, that's a side note. Here's the deal. At the end of the day, from an optics standpoint, it is next to impossible for a guy to ask for spousal support. in any scenario, because in the real world, men are looked at as the head of the household. Mm-hmm. Men are looked at as the one who supports their woman and their family. Men are the ones who ultimately get blamed for everything falling apart when a relationship goes sour. In other words, we get the short end of the stick, even if we're not the one that was the cause of a relationship deteriorating or going south. I say that to say, I do not believe Offset is broke. I don't. Furthermore, I think this is just being petty. Why can't we just acknowledge that these two individuals, they have shown their petty ways during their relationship, also in their breakup. Offset knows that she make more than him. This is probably just his way to solidify his way into his children's lifestyle, because there's some discrepancies as to who sees the kids when. He's claiming she don't even see her kids. It's really the nanny. Like there's some inner marital things that you and I ain't got nothing to do with, and we shouldn't even try to have anything to do with it. But the point is this. I'm going to be a progressive guy, and I'm going to just say, yo, come on, why can't Offset ask for some damn spousal support? Yo, his woman was making more than him. What's the problem? That means he's a bum? Yo, if Stedman asks for spousal support from Oprah, is he a bum? That's his woman. Come on. Like, it's saying like a fling. This was his wife.
This is true. I'm checking my bias also, too, because
and also furthermore, I'm gonna keep going, by the way, until you object. If the roles were on the opposite foot, right? You know what the woman would be arguing? That as a result of her relationship with this man, she was introduced / got accustomed to / now has a lifestyle with her husband and family and kids that is at a certain level. So when two people bring their finances together and they get divorced, if one person is making more money and them being split significantly reduces the lifestyle of the kids and the husband, a lot of people would say, yo, you got it, sis. Yeah, get your bag, sis. Yeah, you had the Birkins when you was with him, sis. Yeah, make sure you still... Like, they would be championing this. Why homeboy can't do the same? What's the problem?
I think, okay, so as someone who has never been married and someone who has never been cheated on or been, I don't know, in this specific situation where there's like a document that says we are together. I don't know what that document looks like, and if they had a prenup, like what that looked like. I think I'm hung up on why the relationship would have ended. I think it's the cheating of it all for me. It's the disloyalty of it all for me. I think you lose that privilege of saying, I had a lifestyle, and because I met you and we had a life together, that now my lifestyle looks like this, and if we're no longer together, I can't afford that lifestyle. I'm like, who cares? If you can no longer afford that lifestyle, this is the consequence. When you lose me, you lose the lifestyle. And
let me ask you something. Before you keep... Yeah, go ahead. Finish that thought. Sorry, I got something to ask you.
With kids being involved, whoever is making the most money needs to ensure that those kids can still have the lifestyle that they had, just stability wise, so it should be on Cardi B, if she has more money, to make sure that her kids can still experience as similar a life as possible. But I don't think it's her responsibility to make sure that her ex gets that same privilege. And I feel that if the roles were reversed, if it were a woman being like, well, I got to go to spa, every weekend, and I still want to do that. And it's like, well, the relationship is over, and you could afford that when we were together, but now we're not together, so that means no more spa treatments. Just an example. What were you going to say?
Hey, look. I want, if you're going to take that position, I want you to keep the same energy across the board. Just want to put that out there. Me personally, I'm married. No. I'm just saying. I just wanted to put that out there. Me personally, I'm married. Been married for a couple years now. Legally married, I should say, because there's some people who are not legally married, but they have a partner. And what do they call it? Domicile? I don't know. There's some other word for it. I forget. Domicile. Like your domicile partner. I may be saying it wrong, but is that what it's called?
I think it's domestic. I think domicide is when you murder.
No. That's homicide. No, I was thinking the word domicile, but it's actually domestic partner. You're right. All right, but look. I just, again, I just feel like, so for example, if I say that because like, if this happened to me, I think we're now having a discussion between what is morally correct and legally correct to do, right? You're speaking on the morality of it all. For me, I care more about what the paper and the law says you can ask for. Because when you start talking about, when you start talking about like legally married, that's you now getting the law involved. You got to go to the county. You got to file the marriage certificate. Now there's rules and regulations as to how you can divorce. What are the grounds of divorce? What are the stipulations as to what the divorce is based on? If there is something in their locality that says, their state that says, yo, if the man cheated, and that's the reason as to the damn divorce, he can't ask for spousal support, I'm all for it. I'll sit here and I'll shut the hell up. I'll be like, yo, Offset, you tripping. What the hell are you doing? Like, you can't do that. The law says you can't do that. But to me, I'm like, I don't think it says that. I don't think it says that. I just don't. I think that people introduce prenups and they introduce these different agreements among their own self and their partner that says those different things, that if somebody cheated or if the divorce is based on infidelity, then you can't ask for certain things. That's something that the wife and the husband would have to argue and sign a paper. But I don't know if that's at the state level. I just want to point that out there. So long story short, I'm not sitting here calling Offset a bum. Offset is part of the Migos. He got bread. He spent money on his wife or ex-wife. I think he's just being petty. I'm not going to lie. And he's suffering from looking crazy because a man is never in any situation going to come off not looking crazy asking for spousal support from a woman. It just will never look good on a dude. So from that standpoint, I get where you're coming from. I get it. But Offset, go get your money, my brother. Get your money. She playing with you, man.
I found the tweet that Cardi B specifically says.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, here it is. Word to my mother, I hope you die slow.
Damn.
Trying to request spousal support. That is her tweet. Word for word. Word to my mother, I hope you die slow. So,
I mean, that addresses it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a good quote. Put that on TMZ.
Yeah.
What more do you need to know? Is he a bum?
That's clear. That's very clear. Like, she explained it all there. Yeah,
Case
in two
closed.
Sentences.
Yeah. I don't even know what we're still talking about here.
Yeah,
Bye.
what the hell? Like, podcast over. It's done, guys. Thank you. No, but do you have anything in closing on this subject, or do you feel like you got it all? You got it all out. What do you think?
Can you still want to name 10 Migos songs since they're such a big band, big group?
We're doing this.
Since they
we're
got
doing
so
this
many,
on camera. That's
so many hits.
I thought I did this for you. Wait, I didn't do this.
I don't remember. Did you? Did you get to 10?
I think we got sidetracked somehow, but I'll keep going.
Weird.
Yeah.
How we got distracted.
Let's and I want to be clear too, because look, for shits and giggles and for context, you guys, Moxxy does not believe the Migos is like that as a group. She questions Offset's bank account. I don't know why she would ever do that. That's crazy. It's freaking Offset and Migos. Migos are legends, guys. Remember? As big as the Beatles? Remember that, guys?
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Same group that had Culture 1, Culture 2, and 3. Remember that, guys? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But no, I mean, we all know. Come on, we all know their biggest songs. I mean, Hannah Montana, Versace, Walk It Like I Talk It. You know what I mean? Bad and Bougie. The list goes on, guys. The list goes on. The list goes on. On and on.
Sound like 10.
Yeah.
That was weird. That seemed like it was like closer to 4, maybe.
Yo, you
5.
want me to really do this? Yo, come on. All right. Yo, let me go to culture 2. Like, damn.
You don't gotta do
this
it.
is
You
crazy.
You gotta do it. You just might have to admit
Nah.
that I'm
Stir
right.
fry? Too much jewelry? Come on. What? Culture 1? Yo, T-shirt? Oh my god.
Okay, you might have a point. They got a lot of bangers.
This is insane. I can't even believe I'm doing this. Like, this
I
is
don't know. If I had
what
this
the
many
price?
bangers, I don't think I'd be asking for spousal support. If I had all these bangers,
Oh, here we
I'd
go.
be like, what,
Here
spousal
we go.
support? Let me just walk it
Hey.
like I talk it then. I don't need no spousal support.
Hey, all I have to say is this. Offset had to split the money 3 ways, okay? Remember, he was in a group. That's all I got to say.
Okay, you're right. Sharing is caring.
Sharon, he had to share with his brothers. He
loves
all
to
right?
Throw it all around.
Rest in peace, Takeoff, man. Damn, let him live. He got to help his family out. Damn. Sheesh. No.
Okay, you're right.
No, but you guys let us know what you think. I mean, is Offset a bum or is he not? I mean, do you side with Cardi B? Like, what's your perspective on this? Leave it in the comments when you watch this episode. As a matter of fact, if you've made it this far, we really appreciate you guys. Hit that subscribe button on your way out. Hit that like button. Share this with a friend or a friend of a friend, and help us grow this platform and help support our new producer, Moxxy, which make sure you give them your socials too. Like, where can they find you at?
Oh, yeah. I'm on Instagram, Moxxy May Poetry, MOXXYMAY .poetry, POETRY. That's where I do my main stuff. So you can find me there, and it's just a lot of poetry. But I'll let you know when new stuff starts coming out.
We love it. You guys are going to be seeing much more of her face, especially as we get QD back into the fold. Man, I'm really excited about the future of what you're going to bring to this platform and just, the overall dynamic. You know what? The biggest thing, I'm glad we have a woman on this show because we done talked about so many women topics, and I've always been like, damn, I wish we could have a woman give her opinion on this, and clearly that's what's going on. So this is good. Yeah. I'm excited.
Would you ever called Offset a bum? You need that je ne sais quoi.
Touche. And with that, we reached the end of the episode. Y'all make sure to hit that subscribe button. I said it 5 times, and I'm going to say it one more time. Hit that subscribe button one time for your boy and your girl. And with that, as always, if you're giving advice, just make sure that thing is ill.
Thanks for having me.
Bow!